is that him and his karate and his wife Paula and their dance studio, they probably could have shut the wrestling down and made a hell of a lot more money over the years. And even up until recently, Richard didn't. Richard has a passion, a desire. He was a 6'7", 190-pound kid that Walter Kowalski found in Malden. And Richard's first match was 60 minutes with Killer Kowalski in Malden at the Armory. Richard could have been he was scouted by the Cincinnati Reds to be a pitcher. He went to Korea instead and fought in the war. And Richard's done a lot for so many people, and there isn't anybody more fitting than to go in this Hall of Fame.
Absolutely not. And one thing that Richard always made a point of is giving back to the business. Not something that everyone does around here, but Richard was always made a point to give back to the people and help the young guys. Not a lot of people like Richard did that, and he should be commended for that.
And, you know, when I talked to Richard, I said, Rich, you know, who's going to do it? You know, Rich didn't know who was going to be here. He goes, well, you do it, because it'd be tough if I went up there and talked about him, you know. Listen to Richard talk about himself. I've listened to all the stories a million times. He fought through riots in South Africa with Tiger Jeet Singh, to the ring and back. He went to Japan, wrestled Fujinami 2 out of 3 falls.
But his karate students only saw that second fall where he went over, so.
Rich edits the tape and shows the second fall to the karate students, but honestly, Richard's a great guy. He's done a lot for a ton of people in this building, and it's me and AJ's pleasure to induct Richard Byrne into the New England Hall of Fame.
I lost son over here. You know, where do I begin? I'm not going to take much time because it's getting late and we got a few more people to go through. I'm really honored to be amongst the real legends in pro wrestling, and a lot of you gentlemen I got to work with over the years, and you know, I treasure every moment that I can remember. Being in the ring with these guys, and I always learned something new every time I was in the ring with them, and always taught my guys, if a veteran comes over and tells you something, listen to him, listen and learn. If he took the time to come over and say something to you, you know, it was worth, you know, listening to, and you'll be better for it. Walter Killer Kowalski was my instructor, my friend for 30 years. And my first match, as they said, was with him, and I thank God for that, because after that everything was a cakewalk. You know, everybody here that knows Walter Kowalski, if you've been in the ring that long with him, there's no resting, there's no grabbing a hold, there's no nothing. It's just constant mayhem all the time, and it gave me a foothold to move on to other things. I've been to shows where I remember the first time David Schultz came to a show in Swansea after the 2020 incident where he got fired for slapping John Stossel, and nobody wanted to work with him. I walked into the show and the promoter runs up to me and says, oh, his opponent didn't show up, and nobody in the room wants to work with him. I said, well, I don't care who I work with. I said, it doesn't matter to me. I said, you told me to bring a heel gimmick tonight. I said, nobody's going to be a bigger heel than David Schultz. But, you know, it didn't bother me who I was going to wrestle. So I just walked into a little room where David Schultz was by himself, and I said, David, it's you and me tonight. And he just looked at me and said, you know, I'm going to beat you up for 5 minutes, you beat me up for 5 minutes, and we go home. How's that? I said, good for me. You know, good for me. And we had a great match. And when I got out of the ring, get back to the locker room, the guys were running up to me saying, "Oh my God, you bealed David Schultz, you slammed David Schultz." And I looked at these guys. I said, "Are you out of your minds?" I said, "You're watching too much TV and you're believing it." I said, "These guys aren't professionals because they kill each other in the ring every day." I just have a great amount of respect for the old-time wrestlers, the veterans, because now that I'm 60, you know, the bumps and bruises that, you know, I've got that haven't been able to let me stay in the business that I miss. You know, I know what a lot of them are feeling and what they put themselves through, just for entertainment, to entertain the people. And somebody else said it, and Walter Kowalski always taught us this, and that's you work as hard in front of 35 people as you work in front of 3,500 people. And yes, there were nights when, you know, we didn't get paid, and then there were nights when we did get paid. But, you know, it was a great experience. I'm very, very happy that I was able to have some small part in it. My true pleasure is to see the students that we were training move on and up through the ranks and finally, you know, get calls to go overseas and go into TV and etc. So that was my true calling, is becoming the instructor, not, you know, the wrestling has-been. So I'm very, very honored to have this. Being in the business end of it, as most of the gentlemen that are here today know, that they were on my shows, a lot of them. Some of them didn't even know it because I'm running around with my tights on, but I'm the one that paid them with the tights on. So they were my shows, and understanding the business end of it, I really do understand what Mr. Bruin is going through, getting together a crowd, an event like this. And I promise you, since I've seen how you do everything, I've got a lot of stuff I could donate to you in my 30 years of pro wrestling that I would love to give to you and have you do whatever you need to do to help promote this Hall of Fame. Thank you very much.